Horist here, and welcome to So There It Is. You know, I talk about issues a lot and everything, but I was a political consultant for a lot of years, a political analyst, a pundit, or whatever the heck you want to call it. And I thought I'd put that hat on. Where's my hat? I put that hat on. And talk about the upcoming 2020 election because, frankly, I'm worried. And I know, we can all, cheer for the home team and everything like that, but I look at it, and because I was paid to, look at things as accurately as possible, I look at 2020 and I do worry. And I worry because issues matter to me. I can't imagine a greater disaster for this country than the Democrats with their bag of issues taking power in Washington. I think we have to get past their romance with socialism and all the other crazy isms that they're following right now. But I do worry because I look at a lot of things. Now, the first thing that has always bothered me is that President Trump lost the popular vote. Now, we can get into that debate and all that, but I will tell you he lost the popular vote. At a time when the Republican Party was on a roll, a tsunami coming from 210, 212, 214, right into the way. It should have been a huge win for the Republican presidential candidate, and it wasn't. Now, we did make it through the Electoral College, but not winning the popular vote, and with most people registered as Democrats in this country, that's a little bit of a warning sign. Today, I saw that President Trump's numbers dropped below 40. Now, I'm not a super believer in the polls, and especially this early. So I can be an optimist and say a lot of things can change. But the reality of the moment is when an incumbent candidate drops below 40% favorable ratings, that is considered politically fatal. Now, again, we got a lot of time to deal with it. But I looked at a lot of other little things. Governor Walker lost in 2016 in Wisconsin when President Trump carried that state. That shows a little underpinning of weakness in that state. We had a disturbingly close race for governor in Florida with DeSantis, who should have, in normal times, had a pretty substantial win, getting through on a squeaker. Not a good sign. We lost the Senate seat in Georgia, and I know there were trouble with the candidate and all that other stuff, but not a good sign to lose in a state like Georgia. The other thing we face is something I've never seen in my entire life of political consulting. The most biased, the most propagandized, most vicious media you can imagine. You turn on the cable news, MSNBC, CNN, but particularly MSNBC, and it is one assault on the president after another. Every story is about what's wrong with Donald Trump. They go to the extreme. They say he is emotionally unstable, mentally unstable. They say Alzheimer's. He's a crazy person. They say he's an evil person. He's a sexist. It just rolls out constantly. And none of that is particularly true. But I also notice they do something else that's interesting. CNN and MSNBC have become the infomercials for the Democratic candidates. Do you know how many times they give them prime time hours, which they call town hall meetings? And they even spend 7 hours of their prime time giving every Democratic candidate an opportunity to have a town hall meeting one after another. Those are simply infomercials. They cover the debates, which of course they would cover. But when they covered the debates, I noticed that they introduced debate by putting on every prominent Democrat to lead into the debate. Now remember this, in the past you would start with the debate. the preliminaries wouldn't be covered. They gave an entire hour of time for the chairman of the DNC, Tom Perez, and others to just give campaign speeches. This is all infomercial stuff, so that worries me. The other thing that worries me is that I've talked to a lot of people, and I do know people who voted for Trump who have said they won't vote for him next time. Now, hopefully maybe they'll change their mind, but at this point they say, no, they're not going to do it. I have not met a single person who did not vote for Trump and said, I'm going to vote for him this time. Now, I know there have to be some. This is all anecdotal. But these are the kinds of things that we look at. And then we have to admit that in a lot of ways, Trump's behavior makes him his own worst enemy. I worry that he doesn't really focus on getting his message out as well as he could, the positive messages. I know he says it. He talks about the economy and he talks about other things. But then he gives his adversaries all the ammunition they need to trivialize the entire campaign. So all I can tell you at this time, at this place, it can change. I'm not making any predictions whatsoever. But at this time, I'm a little bit worried. So there it is.